What? My voice comes out louder and sharper than I would like. No. I swallow hard at the hint of a pretentious smirk he gives, pleased with my reaction, and clear my throat, adding in a more composed tone, there's no need. I don't need your help. I cross the room, gripping the heavy fabric tightly between my fingers, passing by Christopher, who simply looks at me with curiosity, a gleam of amusement shining in his eyes. You wanted this wedding so badly that you planned to sleep in the dress? His provocation strikes a very sensitive nerve in me, and I turn sharply, narrowing my eyes as I look at him. Believe me, you have no idea how badly I want to take this damn thing off, I retort, annoyed, and surprised by my own reaction, which even catches Christopher off guard. Yeah? Yes. I don't need you to take it off. I add, a bit embarrassed, actually, that's the last thing I want. And how do you plan to take it off, then? Christopher's voice is steady, and just like his eyes, he seems cold and almost angry. Do you really think you could do it alone? Because it's clearly not working. Oh, I certainly wouldn't ask you. I cross my arms, making my breast slightly jump at the neckline of the dress, and that attracts Christopher's eyes for a moment, burning my bare skin. I swallow hard, feeling my body heat up with frustration, anger, and a touch of shyness. You're not planning to ask someone else to take it off, right? He also crosses his arms, mirroring my movement, but his muscles are much stronger and more defined. I look up, meeting his eyes and finding something dangerous flicking in them, daring me to answer with the wrong words. It's none of your business, I retort bitterly, turning my back on him again as I uncross my arms and let my hands fall back to my sides. Actually, it is my business as your husband. I thought that I made it clear this isn't a real marriage. I walk to the attached bathroom, trying to erase his sense from my sigh. There's no way in hell I'd let him put his hands on me tonight, not after what he did the first time. Besides, I don't need him touching me so soon. That will only happen once, on the day Henry is conceived, 4 months from now. And that's it. However, Christopher follows me with steady steps and his usual composed posture, stopping at the threshold of the door with crossed arms. His gaze evaluates me from head to toe, burning my skin as if I were too close to the sun. I try to ignore his presence, removing the heavy jewels and tossing them onto the sink, jewels that no longer mean anything to me. After all this luxury is pointless. But again, against my shattered expectations, Christopher remains there, watching me once more through the mirror. Our eyes meet through the reflection, and I notice only seriousness in his fixed expression. Has he always been this stubborn? Why are you still here? I slap my hands on the sink, keeping our eyes locked even though I'm still facing away from him. He tilts his head as if my question were stupid, and I insist, I told you I don't need your help. Well, I can't just leave, he says casually. Why not? Thanks to your radiant face during the wedding, Christopher says with a hint of sarcasm in his calm tone. The Earl believes I did something that upset you and demanded that I fix it. As you know, I entered this marriage to satisfy my grandfather, gain his favor again, and ensure that the whims of a spoiled girl don't threaten my rights as heir. Are you sure it was my fault? I retort, pulling my hair forward over my shoulders. It might be because you were late, or because you wore all black on your wedding day, like at some kind of funeral instead of celebrating your damn marriage. I was grieving. He smirks, his words too casual to be taken seriously. Oh, my condolences. I roll my eyes, my fingers lightly scratching the sink. Want a little pat on your back? A shoulder to cry on? Christopher steps closer, enters the bathroom, and invades my personal space, his eyes still locked on mine through the reflection. It seems there's something I didn't know about you, Charlotte. He stops behind me, dangerously close. I can almost feel his heat on my back. Your tongue is surprisingly sharp. I open my lips to retort, but swallow a startled yelp when Christopher gives a firm tug, almost ripping the corset, making me lean over the sink. He glances up briefly, then quickly looks down again, loosening the cords one at a time with elegant precision, but so slowly it twists my insides. And you're meddlesome, I retort, and he pulls the corset even tighter, giving a strong tug that makes me moan softly. Christopher looks up, surprised, and I press my lips together, lowering my head and focusing on my decorated nails, which are so healthy and long. I try to concentrate on the beauty of the polish, the rhinestones, and the delicate white designs, thinking about how long it's been since they have been painted, instead of the fact that my husband finally loosens all the cords of the corset and lets the accessory fall to the ground. I hold my breath as his skilled hands quickly find the zipper of my voluminous skirt. He releases the hook with a soft click and lowers it carefully, loosening it around my hips. With a gentle, careful motion, he pulls it down, making it slide smoothly to gather at my feet and freeing me with unexpected ease. I lift my head, trying to steady my breathing and slow the rapid beats of my heart. The silence between us feels heavy, charged with the energy of the moment. The soft bathroom light casts a warm glow on my skin as Christopher, with steady but gentle hands, finds the delicate zipper on the back of the dress. He pauses, his eyes meeting mine in a look that combines hesitation and something I can't quite identify before slowly and deliberately pulling the zipper down. Christopher gently loosens the st. wraps of my dress, and it slips smoothly down. It falls into a heap of fabric at my feet, revealing the carefully selected bridal white lingerie. The piece is made of sensual, fine lace with intricate details, hugging every curve of my body. Its design is daring, featuring strategic cutouts and a delicate play of transparencies that hint at more than it reveals, wrapping me in a veil of mystery and promise. He breathes deeply, his eyes following the line of my body in the lingerie, my breasts, my waist, hips, then lifts to meet my flushed face. You know, Charlotte, for a bride who swears she doesn't want me, you've done a terrible job dressing like you mean it. Christopher leans in just enough for his breath to graze my ear, his voice dropping a few tones, his smirk curving lazily. Tell me, you really think lace and denial make a convincing combination? My mind is going blank, and my entire body feels like it's on fire. What did you just say? I growl, my body trembling with barely contained fury, at the sheer absurdity, at the shame, and at things I would rather die than admit out loud. God, I really shouldn't have drunk so much, especially since my 22-year-old body doesn't have the resistance built up over more than 20 years. I'm just saying, his voice drips with that maddening patience I've come to hate. If you wanted to make a point, you shouldn't have picked something quite so provocative. A dry, sharp, humorless laugh escapes me, half disbelief, half irritation. You think I wore this for you? Once, I had it. But if I'd had the chance to go back in time a little earlier, I'd have swapped it for rags and set it alight just to watch it burn. And who else would it be for? His eyes narrow slightly. It's my ring on your finger. You stood at that altar beside me. Yes, I say, my voice cold and sharp. And I'm already starting to regret it. Christopher takes my words as if they were bitter on his tongue, and he laughs oh, a sound very like my own, dry and humorless, as if I've struck a nerve in him just as he did to me. Regret? His smirk falters just a little, barely an inch. Do you want to know what I think, Charlotte? No, I don't. He leans closer, dangerously close, and as much as I hate it, as much as I try to fight it, I can't avoid the shiver running up my spine. I think you're lying. I think you're putting on a facade. A facade? I suppress a giggle but swallow a surprised moan when Christopher touches the middle of my back with his knuckles, a touch so light and unexpected that it sends another shiver through me. God damn you, Christopher Houghton. I tilt my head and clear my throat to regain my composure. You're delusional. Delusional? No. I can see, Charlotte. Christopher takes the final step to close the space between us, pressing his chest against my back. Even though he's wearing that shirt, I can feel his heat radiating onto my bare skin. See what? My breath catches, but I pretend I'm not feeling anything. But he notices, of course. I can tell by the way he smirks, his breath tickling my neck. This change of yours. This tough act, he hums dangerously close to my shoulder, and even though his lips don't actually touch my skin, I can almost feel the vibration of his next words. Are you playing hard to get now? Ha, the nerve. Is this a new pathetic attempt to seduce me, wife? Christopher touches me again, only with his knuckles, gliding along the curve of my body, moving slowly up and down my waist until he finally reaches my lower belly. He rubs the tip of his finger against the waistband of my panties, threatening to hook and pull them, while his other hand moves my hair aside, exposing my entire back and neck. I press my lips into a thin line because there's no way I'm going to sigh or moan. Are you trying to convince yourself, Christopher? Keep fooling yourself. I see right through that little act of yours. I know why. Oh, you chose a new strategy when you couldn't get into my bed. Christopher presses his lips lightly against my neck. But I have to admit, it's kind of cute. This time, I don't fight the laughter that seems to echo through the bathroom walls. I let the sound come out loud, genuinely amused and in disbelief. He's really full of shit. Christopher looks up, meeting my eyes through the mirror, and I can tell he doesn't like my reaction. Your egocentrism is truly enviable, Christopher. I lift my chin, the smile still on my lips. Do you think I'm playing games with you right now? I think you've been playing games all night. Oh, darling, if you knew you had spent a lifetime playing games with me, this is just child's play now. First, you say you don't want to have my love, or be my wife, when I know you wanted this for a long time. Christopher grips my waist firmly. When I know you've tried to get me to undress and fuck you countless times before. I struggle to stay expressionless, even though it's true. I really tried to seduce him. Many times, in many ways. But Christopher was never truly affected by me, never. All my efforts have been futile. Now, seeing all this arrogance, watching him rub it in my face that he could have me in his way, when he was the one who broke me with those very hands, makes me pissed. Seeing glimpses of the old Charlotte reflected in Christopher's eyes makes my stomach churn, and flames of anger spread beneath my skin. I had so much anger inside me, sleepy, ignored, forgotten anger. But Christopher, he makes me feel it bubbling up inside, resurfacing. It's almost painful. It makes me want to be petty like I was before. Do you really think this is an attempt to get your attention? I turn slowly without removing Christopher's hands from me. He looks at my lips, and his hands hesitate on my waist. You really think? I grab his shirt, my fingers wrinkling the fabric as I bring my lips close to his ear. That I was actually trying to seduce you all this time? Huh. I'm really mad. I hate the way he looks at me, like I'm pathetic. I take a deep breath of his cologne, and memories of the first and only night we shared flood my mind, but I quickly push them away, letting these bitter words roll off my tongue. Believe me, Christopher. I slowly run my hands up to his shoulders, scratching over his shirt, wishing my nails were bigger and sharper enough to mark him and hurt him, to bring at least a little of the pain I felt through years of rejection. This isn't a game, and you have no idea what it's really like to play with me. Christopher's eyes darken with an intensity that makes my body burn. He tilts his head back slightly, a soft, teasing smile forming on his lips. You're saying you took it easy on me all this time, he murmurs, his voice low and husky with a hint of mockery, sounding very, very close to my lips. I think you're bluffing. Again. All you did was bluff all the damn night. I don't bluff. Yeah? He takes a deep breath. What a surprise. That finally puts us on the same page. Christopher squeezes my waist, pulling me closer to him, and our hips bump with a soft, hollow thud. Try me, Charlotte. Go ahead, show me how dangerous you are. Let's see how you really play. He steps back, the challenging smile still on his lips, and his eyes slowly scan my body, burning my bare skin. Or are you afraid to play with me, wife? Afraid? The anger surges even more inside me as I move closer to him again, our bodies nearly touching. You really think too highly of yourself, husband. Christopher raises an eyebrow, nearly pleased but still defiant. Then prove it. Show me I'm not underestimating you. Make me hard, Charlotte. My heart pounds faster, rising to my throat. Try to make me hard, and I'll admit defeat. I hold his gaze firmly, trying to swallow this knot in my throat. My hands are clenched fist tight, and it's just a breath away from meeting his smug face. Honestly, I have nothing to prove to Christopher. This game is stupid and a complete waste of time. Even so, the words slip from my tongue before I can regret it. All right. You want to play? Then let's play. Christopher's eyes narrow slightly with amusement at the challenge. I can tell he's not taking me seriously. After all, to him, I'm just a 22-year-old virgin who knows nothing about life. It's a pity for him that I'm not the old Charlotte. You can kneel and use your mouth, he says casually, his voice low and a little provocative. I'll get easy on you and let you play dirty. But I can't promise you'll get me hard with your mouth anyway. I hold back a laugh. Isn't Christopher overly confident? That only makes me more determined to make him choke on his words and moans. Locking eyes with him, I slide my hand down his abdomen, my fingers crumpling the fabric of his shirt. I don't need that much, Christopher, I say, moistening my lips, knowing he's broken our eye contact to watch this simple but deliberate gesture of mine. But you'll be on your knees, admitting defeat. Slowly, I lift his t-shirt, revealing the six-pack abs I know are there, even as I keep my eyes on his. Christopher raises his arms, not resisting as I remove the cloth and let it drop to the floor, near my wedding dress. You're good at faking confidence, I'll give you that. I take another step toward him, noticing curiosity and hints of desire in his brown eyes, along with a damn smirk I'm dying to wipe off his lips. Slowly and gently, I trail my nails up his abs, making sure to take my time as I feel the defined muscles and his skin goosebumped. Christopher shows no change in expression, but his body's slight tremor tells me he's starting to feel it. I rest my palm on his chest and flash a mischievous smile, my voice sweet and soft as I say, tilting my head slightly down while still locking eyes with him, aren't you? You the one who seems afraid now? He frowns, and the smile finally flickers. Why would I be afraid if I proposed this in the first place? I wonder. I gently push him back, and he steps without hesitation. Will you regret being too arrogant? I can handle it. I raise an eyebrow and push him again, guiding him toward the shower. Give me your best shot, princess. I press his back against the cold wall, watching him shiver. Are you sure, Chris? I lean in close to his lips, our breaths blending, keeping a distance that could be shattered if either of us moved just an inch. Try harder, Charlotte. You think you're in control? My voice comes out almost hoarse, barely a whisper. I gently slide my hands down his chest, softly moving towards his abs once more, tracing each shape of his abs with a teasing touch. Let's see how long you can last, Christopher. I gently scratch his skin, my nails leaving a red streak against his pale complexion, then let my eyes drift down his body. Really? I have to admit it's a work of art. I can't help but enjoy myself a little as I slide my soft palm over his abs, nibbling my lip. Christopher shivers and swallows hard, staring intensely at my face. His breathing begins to deepen, even though his expression remains emotionless. Really, he's a tough guy, isn't he? The old me would have gotten frustrated on the first try, maybe she wouldn't have even made it this far. But that just makes things more challenging. And I'm determined to make Christopher Houghton begged. I press my lips to his chin, feeling the stubble, and lift my eyes, gazing directly into his. Slowly, I raise my hand again, letting my palm glide over his body until it reaches his neck. Are you sure you don't want to kneel? He says mockingly, trying to sound unaffected, but I know it's just a facade. Little by little, I'm getting under his skin. Do you want me to suck you that badly? I retort, enjoying seeing his eyes widen slightly and his pupils dilate. Is that what this is about? You want to feel my mouth around your cock? Charlotte, my name slips out between his teeth, like a warning, and I swear I can see a shiver run down his skin. What's wrong? Isn't that it? I tilt my face slightly, my breath brushing against his chin, making his Adam's apple bob as he swallows hard. Don't you want to feel my wet tongue tasting every inch of you? Licking, taking you so deep my throat memorizes every vein? Charlotte. Christopher's voice sounds even raspier, slightly shaky, as he takes a deep breath, grumbling from deep in his throat while the air escapes through his nose. His hand moves suddenly, grasps my waist. The contact sends a rush of heat through me, but I maintain my composure, with a smile that says I'm still in control. You're thinking about it right now, aren't you? About how I'm going to take all of you and swallow everything you give me. He lets out a shaky laugh that's meant to sound sarcastic, but comes out far needier than he probably intended. Careful, princess. I rest one hand lightly on his shoulder, tilting my head just enough to brush my lips over the shell of his ear without quite touching it. Do you want it, Christopher? Want me to choke on your cock? Taking every inch until you can't hold it in anymore? Christopher's breath hitches, sharp and unsteady, a faint sound I might have missed if I weren't so close. His fingers flex against my waist, not quite pulling me closer, but not letting me go either. That's what you want, isn't it? I murmur, letting my words sink into his skin. To see me on my knees, desperate for you, gagging and making a mess? His jaw tightens, but the muscle there jumps, betraying him. His eyes darken, and for a moment, he looks like he's debating whether to push me away or pin me in place. I can do that. I can get on my knees, lick you all over, and make you come in my mouth. I cup his neck and nibble his jawline, feeling his Adam's apple bob once more. If you beg me. He laughs, and I press my body against his, letting him feel my hard nipples against his chest, with only the thin fabric of my bridal lingerie separating us. Christopher's breath comes out heavier, warmer against my cheek, and I feel the subtle shiver that runs through him despite the way he tries to hold himself steady. His hands tighten, almost bruising, thumbs pressing into my skin through the delicate lace, as if anchoring himself. Beg? You really think you can make me beg? His voice is low, almost mocking, but the slight rasp, the way it dips at the end, tells me he's already closer to breaking than he wants to admit. Maybe when hell freezes over. I smile against his neck and rub myself more against him, making sure he feels my heat mingling with Christopher's. He exhales sharply, the sound catching in his throat, and I pull back slightly, just enough to meet his eyes again. Still so sure you can handle it, Chris? He swallows hard. Absolutely. We'll see about that. I let my fingers trail down his chest again, slower this time, my touch light enough to make his skin twitch, and stop just above the waistband of his sweater pants, my smile widening when I catch the quick moistening of his lips. He's starting to lose patience. You're enjoying this, aren't you? I tease in a seductive whisper. Christopher doesn't answer, he simply watches me with burning eyes and grunts when I move away from where he wants me most, even if he won't admit it. So I press a little more, leaning in to gently bite his neck, feeling his body respond more clearly to my touch. Of course you are, Charlotte, he says again, but this time it's softer, less of a warning and more of a slip in his control. He tilts his head to the side, giving me more room to explore his neck as my hand slides down his strong arm. What's the matter? I move my lips to his ear and my hand to his lower back, scratching harder, mocking. Ingham let out a low grunt. I force a fake concerned voice, the smile still playing on my lips. Did that hurt? You'd need much more than that to hurt me, wife. Christopher's fists clench at his sides, his muscles tightening further as he strives to stay in control, but I can feel the tension in his body as I tightly grip his waist, leaving deep marks from my nails. You can scratch me all over, and I wouldn't even flinch. Want me to scratch you while you're on top of me? I rub my lips against his cheek, stopping dangerously close to the corner of his lips. I didn't take you for the masochistic type. Christopher lets out a low groan, a sound that seems almost frustrated. He closes his eyes for a moment, only to open them again, darkened with desire. And I didn't take you for a dirty mouth, he retorts, his breathing getting heavier. What, you'd like me to call you my little slut while I fuck you from behind? This time, it's my turn to shiver, and, as always, Christopher notices my reaction. He presses his lips to my ear and whispers hoarsely, "What's the matter? Two can play this game." I smile and go back to finding sensitive spots on his neck and shoulders, pressing our bodies together so much that I can feel the erection forming against my belly. What a funny thing, you're getting hard, Christopher, I murmur, my voice full of satisfaction. And I haven't even started yet. That proves nothing, he murmurs, hoarsely, trying to stay firm. Didn't you dare me to get you hard? I nibble his neck, my hand moving up and down his thighs, deliberately avoiding touching where he wants it most. For someone so confident, it looks like you're getting pretty hard. Ha, he lets out a fake, mocking laugh. You're not affecting me as much as you think, Charlotte. Oh, really? I whisper, dragging my nails lightly along his inner thigh, close enough that I can feel the tension radiating from him, then pulling back just before I touch him where he's throbbing for me. His jaw tightens, but his breathing betrays him, faster now, heavier, each one deeper than the last. Then why, I murmur, letting my lips ghost over the corner of his mouth, are you gripping my hips like you're scared I'll stop? Christopher's eyes flash, but he doesn't answer. Instead, his hands squeeze harder, pulling me flush against him, his arousal pressing harder into my belly. I hum, smiling against his skin. Feels like I'm affecting you just fine. You're imagining things, he mutters, but the rasp in his voice, that subtle crack, tells me otherwise. You're trembling, Christopher, I tease, not hiding the satisfaction in my voice. Trembling? I'm not trembling, he raises his chin, his voice interrupted by heavy breathing. Is that all you've got? I slide my hands to the waistband of his pants, playing with it without lowering it completely. You want everything I have to give? I tease again, looking directly into his eyes, then kiss his neck, flicking my tongue on a spot I'm sure is very sensitive, alternating with deep, wet, circular motions. Let's see if you can handle it. Christopher lets out a low groan as I suck on his neck, not caring if it leaves a mark or not. The popping sound of the hickey makes him gasp, and me too. I deeply inhale his scent and rub my breasts against his chest, feeling shivers every time my nipples brush against the lingerie fabric. Christopher is so hard that he can't deny it anymore. You've lost, Christopher. I take a deep breath, closing my eyes for a moment. But now, I'm not going to stop, not until you beg to fuck me. You think it's that easy? He retorts, struggling to keep the sarcastic tone despite the heavy breathing. I'm not going to give in. I smile, satisfied that I'm breaking his resistance, even if he denies it. I want to see Christopher at my feet. He will be the one kneeling. Yeah? I murmur, my hands finally sliding inside his pants, touching his bulge with my fingertips over his trunks. Let's see how much you can really handle. Christopher's entire body tenses at my touch, his hips jerking almost imperceptibly toward my hand before he catches himself. I feel the heat radiating from him through the thin fabric, the steady, pulsing hardness that reveals more than his words ever could. I can handle everything, he smiles, trying to sound firm despite the evident tremor in his voice. You won't break me. I curl my fingers just enough to trace the outline of his cock, slow and deliberate, watching his jaw clench as if he's holding back a groan. His breathing becomes heavier, and when I press my thumb against the tip through the fabric, a deep, guttural sound escapes his lips, quickly followed by a clear of throat, trying to mask the needy sound. Not enough to make me beg, then I'll just keep going. I lean in until my lips are brushing his ear, my voice soft and wicked. Until you can't stop yourself. My fingers slide lower, cupping him fully now, applying just enough pressure to make his hips shift into my hand. He doesn't move away. He doesn't tell me to stop, and that alone tells me I've already won more than he's willing to admit. So I pull his pants and boxers down together, revealing his cock, so hard that veins are popping against the thin skin. My own breathing grows heavier, and the heat I already felt from the whiskey and vodka now intensifies. I don't understand how it's possible, but I feel even more intoxicated. God, I should stop now. I've already made my point, played this pointless game, and made Christopher regret looking down on me. But there's something hypnotic about his heavy and fast breathing, the way he's waiting for my moves, even though he's trying to deny it. You still think you're in control? I lower my gaze to his hard cock, taking a deep breath, saying that more to myself than to him. I hate to admit it, but my insides are throbbing with the same need. My Odie is so hot. I'm sure Christopher can feel it. No wonder he remains confident. This is no longer a simple game of teasing. It's no longer about how far I can get under his skin. It's not about proving to Christopher that I'm no longer the innocent, naive girl he thought he knew, or a petty revenge that leads nowhere. Now, it's about who breaks first. But no matter what happens, I won't lose, even if I have to play dirty. What's wrong, Charlotte? I thought you were going to break me. I slide my fingertips along a bulging vein without breaking eye contact, and tighten my grip just enough to make his breath catch in his throat. Christopher's lips part, a low hiss slipping out before he can stop it, and his fingers tighten on my hips as if anchoring himself to reality. Slowly, I move my hand again, my thumb brushing over his cock's head before sliding back down its length, letting my fingers trace every ridge and vein. The reaction is an instant, subtle jerk of his hips, followed by that almost silent inhale he probably hopes I didn't catch. I felt that, I whisper, leaning in until my lips nearly brush his. Christopher's jaw clenches, his knuckles flexing at his sides, but he doesn't step back. You're not, his words cut off as I repeat the motion more slowly this time, dragging out the anticipation until his eyes flutter shut briefly. I'm not what? I press, my free hand gliding up his torso, nails trailing over his skin. His eyes snap open, darker than before, and he smirks, though it's thin, strained, barely holding together. You're not making me beg. Not yet, I correct softly. But you will. Before he can throw another deflection, I twist my wrist slightly and stroke him again, this time firmer, watching the way his lips part as he exhales hard through his nose, his eyes shutting. Not enough to break you, I taunt softly, leaning forward until my lips hover just beside his. Then I'll have to try harder. I tighten my grip a little more this time, giving a firmer stroke, squeezing his thickness slightly to bring him closer to the edge. A low, guttural sound rumbles from his throat before he can stop it, and his fingers dig into my hips hard enough to leave marks. There it is, I murmur, my voice dripping with satisfaction. That's the sound I've been waiting for. Christopher's eyes open slowly, dark and burning, but there's a flicker, just a flicker, of something dangerously close to surrender. Don't get cocky, Charlotte, he rasps, though the warning is undercut by the unsteady rise and fall of his chest. This means, nothing. I don't ease up. My strokes grow slower but deeper, my grip shifting so my thumb rubs over the sensitive head with every upward pass. Each time, his hips shift toward me in the smallest, most involuntary jerk, betraying him. You can keep pretending, I whisper, my lips grazing the shell of his ear, but your body already knows who's in control. Christopher's breathing becomes ragged, each inhale trembling as if he's battling something much greater than pride. Control is overrated, he grits out, though the pause between words betrays how close he is to losing his composure. His jaw clenches, tight and stubborn, but his lashes lower just enough for me to catch the way his eyes darken further. I smile against his skin, my hand maintaining that slow, deliberate rhythm, stroking him from base to tip, my thumb teasing over the head until a bead of pre-cum slicks my touch. You don't affect me the way you think. Despite his attempt to deny it, I know I'm close to breaking his resistance. And he knows it, too. These words are all said out of pure pride. Unfortunately for him, we are both people with pride at the forefront. Christopher, his name escapes with a soft sigh, almost a moan, and he catches his breath. I'm so wet, his gaze snaps to mine, the flicker of control in his expression faltering for the first time. I see that sharp, almost primal shift in his eyes, as if the image I've planted in his mind just broke every layer of restraint he's been clinging to. It feels so good to hold your cock, I smile slyly, playing with his mind. You're so hard, Christopher. So big, and thick. I quicken the pace, my strokes now steady and purposeful, every pass designed to push him closer to the edge he's been swearing he won't reach. I've been dripping for you this whole time, I murmur, slow and deliberate, stroking him with just enough pressure to make his hips twitch toward my hand. Every second you've tried to hold back. I've been thinking about what you'd feel like inside me. He grunts loudly, hitting his head against the wall and his eyes closing tightly. You damn woman. I bring my lips close to his neck and let my words reverberate against his sensitive skin. Do you want to feel how much I want you?